Welcome to my home. This is a story I know I'm going to enjoy telling. It's a story of Katsuhiko Seino and his family and how he became my mentor, my teacher in Indonesia. We had worked for 3.5 years to get visas to Indonesia. And this is back in the early 80s. 83, I think, is when we actually arrived in Indonesia. We spent a year in Bandung doing language study, and then the second year we moved to the city of Solo. And in Solo was this Japanese couple in our mission that was there, and he was like the senior missionary and I was the junior, as young as you could get, practically late 20s, getting started in mission work. And we got to know Katsuhiko and Hiroko Seino because we went to their house every Wednesday night. Every Wednesday night for like 2 hours would be over at their house. And they became the dearest friends and the most awesome people. And they helped me through so many problems because, he's a Japanese, I'm an American. And in most of the mission world, the missionary leadership is all American, or lots of Americans. And I did have an American colleague, but he was an hour and a half away in another city. And we had a Filipino colleague in the capital city of Jakarta. But the guys in town next to us were the Seinos. And, how to start telling about Katsuhiko Seino. We were dealing with some problems. In Indonesia, as probably is true of a lot of Southeast Asia, and if you're Indonesian or from Southeast Asia, don't take this negatively, but there's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of bribery. There's a lot of bad stuff that goes on. And even in the mission world, the Indonesian phrase for it is tempat basah, the wet place. The wet place meant you're working with missionaries who will give you lots of money. Or tempat kering, that's the dry place. You're working with missionaries who won't give you any money. We were pretty kering, we were pretty dry. We didn't give out much money. But Seino had a principle he taught us. He said, locally, the churches would say, Pastor Seino, help us build our church. And he'd say, well, if I'm going to build a church, I'm going to take it back to Japan. Then it's my church. Why would I build a church for you here? If it's your church, you build it. I'll help out a little bit, but, his standard was 50%. He would make them pay at least 50% of the building cost. And usually he would cover the last 50%. So like they do the foundation and the walls and he'll put the roof up and stuff like that. And I'm going, that's actually smart because what he discovered was they actually considered that they built the church, not Seino. Seino didn't build it. He only built that last bit. We did the hard work and we built it. And so there was pride and there was ownership and, it's just brilliant concept. We had a problem in Indonesia. I talked about corruption. We had a missionary in our organization before I got there who was so bad. Money, women. He raised money for bicycles in Kalimantan where there weren't even trails that bicycles could ride on. And he goes, yeah, but we can get people to give money for bicycles if we say we're raising money for bicycles. In our city of Solo, there was a little Bible school called Enalta. He called up and he said, I've got all my German friends coming out that want to support the Bible school. Put the Bible school on, and we need to hire teachers and students and run the Bible school for 3 days, and I'll be able to raise all kinds of money. And, everybody in Solo knew about this scam, that he played this Bible school for 3 days till the Germans left. And I'm going crazy. I'm a young American guy, and I'm going, we need to take this guy down. We need to stop. He was the director of our national church. He controlled the Indonesian director of our national church. And he had good friends in the military. Whenever they had board meetings, he had military officers standing outside with machine guns. Do you think any of the other board members would challenge the director of the board, chairman of the board, in any way? Not at all. And so, Mr. Finn is going to solve this problem. I'm going to take care of it. And I was making plans for how I would, take him down and deal with this guy that was ruining the reputation of Christ and missions and the work of our church and all the stuff that we were doing. So I go to Seino's house another Wednesday evening. And I start telling Katsuhiko Seino, some of my plans. And he said, Finn, calm down. Calm down. What has God called you to do? He's called you to do your good work that He's called you to do. Plant your churches, impact people, minister to people. He goes, Finn, spend 90% of the time doing the work that God has called you to do. Don't worry about these evil, bad, other situation stuff. Spend maybe 10% of your time protecting yourself so you don't get taken down by them. But in 5 years, if you're doing the work that God has called you to do, your work will speak for itself. And this crazy guy that you want to take out, his work will speak for himself, what he's doing. Stop worrying about it. And he used the illustration. He said, it's like you Americans. You want to do surgery and cut out the cancer. We Asians, we take tea and we slowly work on the problem. You don't have to do it in one fell swoop, but you do have to focus on what God has called you to do. Stick to that, do that, and God will bless your work. And this guy's work will disappear because he's not doing God's work. But don't you worry about it. Thank you, Katsuhiko Seino. You're my hero. Thank you.